my topic is how the pioneer community cooperate with the core team to successfully open mainnet as soon as possible. Dear community leaders, pioneers, and merchants, and ecosystem developers from all over the world, this is Doris Ying, greeting everyone at 10:40 a.m. in Toronto, Canada. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. On behalf of this conference organizing committee and initiator, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the 25th guest speakers above, and thank you for all your excellent speeches. You have discussed the current economic situation and historical mission of Pi Network in this financial crisis from different perspectives. How can the pioneer community take action to actively cooperate with the core team to complete the task of closed mainnet, to achieve the goal of successfully open mainnet to complete this glorious mission? I'm honored to invite two excellent ecological developers, Mr. Mikey St. Anna and Mr. Ridho Iravan, to participate in our speech. They deserve our admiration because they bravely stood up to support the ecological developers of GCV. Our GCV communities will strongly support and embrace the GCV ecological platform and suppliers. Also, I'm very appreciative to Workforce Pool co-founder, Mr. Laurie, to attend our conference. We'll pay close attention to your platform too. Before discussing the topic, I would like to introduce myself briefly. I'm a Canadian Chinese. I hold 2 bachelor's degrees in Chinese economics and Canadian accounting. I graduated from Anhui University of Finance and Economics in China and Concordia University in Canada. I was American certified public accountant, CPA, and American California insurance broker. I'm a USA tax professional enrolled agent now. My expertise is to conduct financial analysis of companies and projects and submit risk control report. My tax expert is companies and projects. My tax expertise is financial research for taxpayers and providing tax solutions. The purpose of my personal career background is to tell you that it is my expertise to summarize all kinds of information and propose solutions. So I analyze the current situation of Pi Network and put forward objective and feasible analysis report. As a US tax professional, I will analyze everything based on facts. We must do everything rigorously and avoid risks, but simultaneously, we should solve problems instead of waiting passively. Next, I will analyze and summarize the topic of this conference. I have discussed the relationship between the pioneer community and the core team in many speeches. Only when we understand our relationship will we not fall into complaints and wait passively. Most of our pioneers come from the low-income community. Life is tough, and they receive little education, especially when they need to learn how a company or project operates. In addition, they are affected by false news. They mistakenly think that core team will control everything. They thought once the technology is complete, the open mainnet will open. Everyone is suffering because they have been waiting only for the open mainnet from the bottom of their hearts. Many pioneers are eager to pass KYC and transfer coins to wallet because they need cash to survive. What they said makes sense. They said they couldn't support themselves any longer and must sell their coins to survive and continue living. We must have seen the public buying and selling of Pi currency everywhere. I once saw in Facebook group that the purchase price was only $0.87 US. Some pioneers think that they have nothing to do with it. They believe lighting up the mine button is the only thing to complete the pioneer's task. Lining up The mining button is essential, but lining up is far from bearing the title of pioneer. It can be called a miner at most. Pioneer, as the name implies, the leading force in the combat and the marching are likened to the people and the collectives who lead the cause. Our reputation has given us a historical mission to pave the way for the successful Open Mainnet. The core team needs pioneers to participate in completing the landmark mission. Pi Network core team said, there is no shortcut to achieve real long-term success, whether for individuals or the internet, in history or today, in the cryptocurrency or non-cryptocurrency domain. Great things need time and unremitting efforts to build. We hope that all pioneers have the same spirit. See through the noise of the outside world, the upside down of the outside world. Continue to focus on the construction of substance and unremitting create ourselves in prosperity and adversity. We strive to achieve it. This tells us that there must be resistance on the road to success. All kinds of voices and even slanders attacks have been around us. Thus, there must be more than that in financial revolution, monetary revolution, technological revolution. Where does the resistance come from? The redistribution wealth affects some vested interest. Revolutions have always been from the bottom of the people, and reforms is from top to bottom. This is doomed to be extraordinary revolutionary path. So our pioneers need to firmly believe in the core team and follow the call from them to keep their pie from being harvested, because it will affect the decentralization of pie. In addition, I suggest pioneers to not participate in any no-cost ecosystem platform. We should also help our teams and the community to understand the idea of the pioneers' responsibility for the rise and fall of the pie. An individual buying and selling pie's behavior will cause it impossible to move forward. Blocking this loophole may let expected KYC and large migration to move smoothly. In this process, there must be all kinds of noise that hinder our empowerment, and all sorts of arguments will appear. These arguments are constantly changing to paralyze you so that you don't make any effort. Wait for a flower to bloom by itself. Some of them may tell you that the price has been set by government, or the price has risen to 1 million, 10 million, or even 2 billion. You might feel so excited that you cannot sleep for a few days and nights. As a result, you still cannot see mass migration of wallet or even Open Mainnet. End up, you will blame the core team for deceiving everyone. In fact, you easily believe in this fake news which has deceived yourselves. Today, I'm here to remind you that achieving the early arrival of Open Mainnet requires the efforts and the cooperation of every pioneer. First, control your eyes, ears, mouth, and hands. Don't search for good news every day. What you find is about comforting yourself. You are the source of good news. Don't sell your accounts or coins. Think about what you can do after selling your account or coins. You are only able to spend a few months. Not to mention that your behavior dramatically affects the process of Pi Network. You may regret giving up the coins in your hand, but there is no medicine for regret. You give up the only chance to change you and your family's life, and you can only continue to live a miserable life in the future. Please don't be greedy to buy it, because your behavior will affect the project. With a successful GCV, a few dozens of Pi are enough to spend in a lifetime. Then why do you need so many? Wealth needs virtue to bear it. If there is no virtue, wealth will bring scourge and disasters. So how to promote the Open Mainnet? It starts with the above. If every pioneer does this, our development process will naturally accelerate. When you can do it, you have obligation to vigorously promote this idea in various communities and social platforms to help other pioneers realize it as soon as possible. When a large number of pioneers do so, it will be directly displayed in the reduction of large amount transfer on blockchain and proving that the risk is reduced so that there can be a large number of KYC and open mainnet. And ecology and suppliers will have the confidence and hope it may attract more external ecology to join in. The outer ecology is not from pioneer community. They must investigate the risk of the project. If the distribution price range from $1 to GCV, how can they get approval through financial analysis? In addition to managing ourselves well, we need to foster and participate in the ecological construction. How do our pioneers participate? The core team has told us to be ecological and business ambassadors. Ecological ambassadors need to find talents who can do ecological development themselves or through their social circle. The business ambassadors is to connect with local merchants to join the network. If pioneers has no these special abilities, you can only be a pioneer ambassador, continue to promote Pi Network and let more people in the world participate in Pi Network. Why do we put forward a consensus GCV? That's for the distribution of Pi as a currency stable and decentralized. So if we want Pi as the currency circulate, there must be a consensus price so that all online and offline ecology will be active. During the closed mainnet, it is not a stage of exchanging goods by big commodity, but to build consensus price. Therefore, I have always advocated that small commodities be bartered locally. The cost of cross-border commodity is high risk, and few merchants are willing to do it. Even if they're eager to do so, they can only support limited supply. Many pioneers have thoughts of asking for bigger commodity during closed mainnet and look for cars and house everywhere. If merchants do this, they will be short of fund or bankrupt. Therefore, I look forward to the unified consensus price from the pioneer community as the priority. We have heard the idiom, killing chickens to get eggs. Please don't kill chickens. There can be no eggs and chickens after all. Even if there are a few big commodities, only a few pioneers can get them, while other pioneers increase their jealousy and anxiety. Therefore, I suggest cultivating pioneer consensus price GCV awareness during the closed mainnet, focusing on small items and local service industries such as daily necessities, hotels, games, etc., which will reduce operating cost and more transaction record can be created. More high-value commodities can be handled as appropriate after the market price is more stable or support GCV after open mainnet. This can encourage pioneers to unify the price of GCV faster. Therefore, our pioneers should protect the benefits of the merchants and help them reduce risk by quickly promoting the achievement of GCV. Next, I want to discuss the question of who created the price. Dr. Nicholas has said that pioneers built the price of Pi, but many pioneers do think that the core team should set a price so they can rest assured. Therefore, there was no open mainnet on June 28, Pi 2 Day. Some pioneers and even ecological platform questioned why the core team did not remove the firewall and open mainnet. I will say, if core team open a mainnet now, if you want it to fail, if you want it to succeed, you should implement my suggestions above. This kind of question behavior to the core team is like you tie one of your feet to the pillar and you cannot walk. You complain the other foot. Therefore, whether open mainnet, KYC, or mainnet migration are closely related to the risk control, and this risk comes precisely from Pioneer. The core team are not allowed to set Pi price, which is to implement regulation of the US SEC. I explained why the core team cannot be priced or open mainnet now. The ecology is not mature, and the maturity of the ecology requires a stable price in addition to technology. Some pioneers have been shouting that the government has set a price recently, calling on everyone not to make any effort and wait for the government to set a price. Everyone must know that government is the policy supervision department, not executive department of the economic entity. It is not suitable for government to set a price before the open mainnet. They can influence price by participating in ecological construction rather than announcing price. I won't repeat why the price is GCV is needed because we have discussed many times before. The pioneer community needs to give up the illusion of government pricing and participating in building GCV influence in a down-to-earth way. If you have available coins, you can join in creating online GCV data, which has been widely publicized in significant media promoting the mainnet from the community perspective above. We also need to improve our spiritual realm and strengthen physical exercise because only good health can have a healthy spirit. Although we know Pi is necessary, be aware of the daily news. Please don't rush to cash out because many of them are traps and the banner of monetization. We could spend time with our families and do our work well, which will help us empower and promote mainnet. In this way, if we don't pay attention to false news and no slanderous attacks, there will be no soil for survival. No one will see it. It will naturally reduce our burden. We focus on publicity and education of those low consensus pioneers to raise consensus to GCV. When they improve, the blockchain data will show the risk reduction will naturally accelerate the open of KYC and mainnet migration. Naturally, ecological merchants may enter the barter state. Keep a balance. Calm yourself in its way. So please adjust your mentality and do your duty well. We set up a goal-oriented attitude. Everything revolves around how to open mainnet. Put down all the temporary short-sighted ideas of fame or virtue. Don't damage the size of the core team for your selfishness. I'm curious to know how much more money you can make by successful open mainnet one day earlier. So be aware of using pretty tactics for temporary gains at the expense of your future. We need to be wise. This wisdom comes from within. Let go of dissatisfaction, resentment, greed, anger, stupidity, arrogance, and doubts in your heart, and naturally get great wisdom. Everyone also needs to know that deception does not guarantee valid, lasting wealth. Trickery will be lost quickly and close to disaster. Therefore, a gentleman has an excellent way to get money. If we do things beneficial to the public, we'll naturally get wealth given by God, which will not only not be lost, but also bring wealth, health, and happiness. Based on above analysis, I put forward some specific suggestions on how to advance open mainnet. First, it is clear that open mainnet requires pioneers to build together, and the core team will not guide the price. Let's create a price together. The price needs to be completed by the global pioneers consensus. The core team and we are the relationship like fish and water. The two are indispensable and interdependent. So we need to act as pioneers ambassador, ecological ambassador, or business ambassador to help expansion of the network in environmental prosperity. Second, do not participate in any private transaction during the closed mainnet period and participate in the ecological barter to adhere to the GCV price. We are not only doing this to ourselves, but we also need to educate our team to do the same. The reason is that GCV price consensus can help pioneers cherish their coins and stop private trading so that they can make more KYC and mainnet migration record. A large number of mainnet migration and solid consensus GCV can attract more suppliers and merchants to join in. This method is the only way we can fulfill the opening condition of the ecological mainnet. Therefore, the initiative of open the mainnet is in ourselves, not a core team. We should do our best to do our respective duties. We should do an excellent job in each other essential role in our family. Do not be too addicted to pie. We should go to work, study in a normal life, unless we do something to empower. The general pioneer will only take a little time. We are pioneers, so we speak as pioneers rather than as a core team or on behalf of government. You should say matching with your role. However, actions speak louder than words, whether that implies good intention or pursuing self-interest at the expense of others. Follow the right path. Retreat from the wrong one. Do not follow evil paths or sin in secret. Accumulate merit and show a compassionate heart by loyal, respectful, friendly, and brotherly by improving ourselves. When a person's heart is moved by goodness, although the honor has not yet been achieved, but felicitous spirit are already following him. But when a person's heart is moved by evil, although the evil has not yet been completed, spiritual of misfortune are already following him. A person who formerly did terrible things but afterwards repents and does no more evil and continues in good behavior gradually must obtain good fortune and happiness. This is called changing disaster into good fortune. Therefore, a joyous man speaks what is good, thinks what is good, and does what is good each day. He does these three things, and in 3 years, heaven will bequeath to his good fortune. But a unlucky man speaks what is evil, thinks what is evil, and does what is evil each day. He does these three things, and heaven will strike him with misfortune in 3 years. Why would we need to be more diligent in following this? This expert from the Taishang Induction chapter teaches us how to get blessing and happiness to avoid disaster. The fourth, by exercising your body and self-cultivation, can you maintain a state of not being impatient? Take 1 to 3 hours a day, contribute significantly to the empowerment of PI. We aim to spread the right news to the major communities and the significant media. At present, it is the voice of GCV on Twitter. We need to move our work focus on Facebook and Instagram to publicize the network and the GCV to help pioneers who still sell many coins there to build up their confidence and hope to keep their counts and pie. Fifth, actively participate in more than 300 existing ecosystems and learn more about participation. Support GCV platform suppliers and merchants to attract more ecological outlets, suppliers and merchants to unify GCV price. Our pioneers do not require them to price as a GCV. We respect their price, but will only follow GCV price. In this way, a unified consensus can be reached quickly. Any supplier or merchant with a higher investment will have a shortage of cash flow in 3 to 6 months. So the unified price will help healthy ecological development to meet the conditions for open mainland as soon as possible. This risk of supplier and merchants does not come from the higher consensus price of GCV, but from the risk and speculation brought about by big different price in the market. The sixth, suppliers and merchants in various places can communicate more. Even international suppliers or merchants can contact more to develop better horizontally with the business-to-business model. At the same time, the whole industrial chain in seeking suppliers who can also accept PI payment so that the international supply industry chain can be formed as soon as possible, making the PI a real settlement currency. This will inevitably promote the earlier mature of ecology. The above is my speech today. Due to time limit, I briefly introduced how our community cooperate with the core team to advance open mainland. The above analysis and suggestions can only represent my personal views, so I'm not represent the core team. This is the purpose of getting more insightful guidance. I want to thank all the guests and conference team member for their hard work, which has made today's successful conference. This conference will undoubtedly play an active role in education and guidance for entire global PI community. I now call on Global Pioneers community to unite, understand their responsibility and obligations, and unify them to GCV as soon as possible. Pi is a revolution and prize is a weapon. GCV will win. Pi Network will win. I'm now announcing the success and end of Global Community Pioneers Conference successfully finished. I wish all pioneers good luck and thanks to Chinese organizing committee hard work. Doris Ying from Toronto, Canada, July 23rd, 2023. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Doris Ying.